What is up guys, Stark here. I am back for another Fate video, and in today's video I am going to be doing the character spotlight for a new 4-star character, and that is going to be Miyu. So Miyu makes her debut in the game with the rerun of Chloe's event, and she's going to come out with a whole slew of servants, honestly, a whole bunch of different casters, and I'll be doing character spotlights for all of those characters. But first, we're going to start with the new character. We'll get that out of the way. Now, as of this recording, Miyu is not technically out. She will come out tomorrow. But I wanted to go ahead and get a jump on this spotlight because there's a lot of videos that I'm going to have to make during the duration of this event. We have Miyu, plus we have all the other characters rated up, plus we have what's going on JP as well. So there's going to be a ton of videos coming out, so I had to make the best use of my time. I also do have videos planned for doing pulls on both of those banners. So a lot to get through. So we're going to go ahead and start with Miyu a day early here, and we'll get right into it. So Miyu is a 4-star caster who is going to complete the magical girl trio of Miyu, Ilya, and Chloe. So you're going to be able to field a team of all three of them, which is pretty cool, and that's one of the reasons why I want to pull for her, regardless of whether or not she's good or not. I did want to get that to complete the magical girl team. But at level 80, she's going to have 12,005 HP, and she's going to have 8,629 attack. This will rank her 98th overall in HP and 148th overall in attack. For casters, your stats really don't make much of a difference. What really boils down to a good caster is whether or not they have good skills. So we'll see in a little bit whether or not Miyu has good skills or not. But her star absorption is 49, her star generation is 10.9%, and her noble phantasm generation is 0.81, and on defense it's going to be 3%. So while most casters do function as support units, and while Miyu does have a little bit of support built in, specifically with her noble phantasm, her skill set is going to be extremely selfish and will only focus on herself. Her first skill will increase her own arts card effectiveness for 3 turns, and this will also increase critical strength 3 times over the course of 3 turns. So this will be on a 5-turn charge time at maximum level, which is pretty nice. Anytime you have a 3-turn skill duration, it's always going to be really nice to have a 5-turn cooldown. That way you're not waiting too long in between usages of your skills, and this one is going to do just that. It'll give you a 30% boost for both of your effects. So it's pretty nice overall. The only drawback really is that you only get 3 times over the course of 3 turns for your critical strength, instead of just a flat 3-turn increase to the overall critical damage you deal. So that's a bit of a drawback, but at the same time it's not going to be that bad, and you potentially could space it out over the course of 3 turns, but you could also stack it onto 1 turn and make it for a pretty solid burst turn. Her second skill will apply Guts to herself 1 time over the course of 3 turns, and this will heal you up to 2,000 at maximum level. You'll also be able to apply debuff immunity to yourself for 1 time over the course of 3 turns. This will be on a 6-turn charge time, which is a little bit high considering the effects. All you really do get out of this is the Guts and 1 turn of debuff immunity. So, it's not too bad of a skill. It'd be better if this skill was targetable, so you could target any ally, or maybe if it had a 3rd effect in there. I think that might be a little bit better. But overall, not a bad skill. It's definitely going to help keep Miyu alive a lot longer, that's for sure. And then finally, for her 3rd skill, you do have her 1 support skill here, and this is going to increase the noble phantasm gauge for 1 ally, and this will also increase the buff success rate for that ally for 3 turns. So this is a pretty nice skill. NP battery is always really nice, and then having the buff success rate as well is going to be big. Now for Chloe, she actually has a similar thing like this, but for Chloe it's only for Ilya allies. But for Miyu, it's for any ally, which is really nice, and you do get that magical 40% number right there, which is going to pretty much guarantee the success of basically every skill out there that has a percent-based chance of succeeding. So it's going to be a really helpful skill. It is on a 6-turn charge time at maximum level, but it's not terrible at the end of the day because of that. As for her passive, she does have 2. The first one will increase your debuff resistance by 17.5%, and the second one will increase your noble phantasm gauge by 4% every turn. So all in all, for Miyu's skills, I do think she has a decent kit of skills, but it's nothing flashy or over the top, and some of the skills do have a bit longer cooldowns compared to the durations of the overall skills, so I am going to give her 4 stars for her skill set. Now taking a look at her command card deck and her noble phantasm, she does have a standard caster deck with 1 quick, 3 arts, 1 buster, and she's going to have 3 hits on her quick cards, 2 hits on her arts cards, 3 hits on her buster cards, and then 4 hits on her extra attack. So average hit counts, a little bit lower hit counts on the arts cards, which is a shame because she has 0.81 for her Noble Phantasm generation. You would have liked to have seen a little bit higher hit counts on her arts cards, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And then as far as her chains go, she is going to deal damage with the Buster Arts extra chain. For Noble Phantasm generation, predictably she's going to go for arts extra. And then for critical stars, you're going to have to bring in a bit of support there, bring in 2 extra quick cards, and then her own quick card. As for her Noble Phantasm, it is going to be an Arts Noble Phantasm that will gain a delayed buff called the Protection of Sakatsuki for 3 turns. And what this does is it will increase Noble Phantasm gauge by 10% for all of your allies each turn. This will also restore the HP of all of your allies for 3 turns. And this will also reduce your own HP by 3,000. So that's a big hefty price there for that. However, on the overcharge, you will also gain critical stars every turn for 3 turns. And if you're thinking that this Noble Phantasm seems very familiar, that is because it is extremely familiar, and that is because it is basically a watered-down version of Merlin's Noble Phantasm. Pretty much the exact same thing with the addition of a HP cut for yourself. So you have the HP heal, you have the MP gauge fill every turn, you have the critical star gain. So it's all right there. It's pretty much the exact same thing, except the numbers are a little different. So yeah, I guess if you don't have Merlin, Miyu is a way to go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a copy of Merlin's Noble Phantasm. So all in all, for her damage capabilities, I'm going to give her 3.5 stars. Her Noble Phantasm does not deal damage, and the only sort of boost that she has for her overall damage is going to be on her first skill. And getting a boost to your arts card effectiveness is nice, as well as the critical strength is nice. However, that critical strength potentially can only last for 1 turn. If you do stretch it out for 3 turns, then it's only going to be 1 attack. So you don't have a lot to go off of for your overall attack. And, you know, casters have naturally low damage. So, you know, she's not going to be hitting very hard. For her critical ability, she's going to get 3.5 stars. She does have the boost to her overall critical strength, which is nice. And she does have her Noble Phantasm, which is a pretty good way to generate stars. So you could potentially get up to 25 stars a turn for 3 turns, which is really nothing to sneeze at. Now, you're going to have to put in a lot of work in order to get that. But, you know, it is potential for it to happen. And even outside of that, you're still going to bring in 5 turns every turn, which isn't really that bad, you know, especially if you have another character that's going to bring in some more stars. So you could potentially get some pretty good star numbers overall with that. For her Noble Phantasm, she's going to get 4.5 stars. Her Noble Phantasm is basically a watered-down version of Merlin's, and Merlin's Noble Phantasm is very good, so her Noble Phantasm is also very good. She does lose points because of her reduction to her own HP, so that's really, really unfortunate, but, you know, that is what it is. But outside of that, you know, she has a passive to gain Noble Phantasm gauge every turn. She has an MP battery, so, yeah, she's going to be pretty good for her overall Noble Phantasm strength, and you know, it doesn't do any damage, but it has really good effects as a support Noble Phantasm, so that's always going to be very helpful in the fight. And that's pretty much what casters are for. They're there to support, so, you know, she does that pretty good with her Noble Phantasm. For her survivability, I am only going to give her 3 stars. Now, this may seem a little low, but she doesn't have any really hard defense. She has the guts, which is nice. It'll keep her alive for a little bit, but she has pretty low HP to begin with. And, well, I guess it'd be average HP. The other main reason here is, once again, centered around her Noble Phantasm. And, you know, it's going to suck because you want to spam your Noble Phantasm with her, but you also, every time you do that, you're going to kill yourself, basically. So every time you use your Noble Phantasm, you lose that 3,000 HP. And it doesn't heal it back, so, you know, even at, well, at MP level 5, you'll offset it, but at the same time, that's MP level 5, so it's difficult to use Miyu just because she's going to end up killing herself while spamming your Noble Phantasm. So, yeah, I can't really give her too much of a boost in survivability when you're going to intentionally be killing her to spam her Noble Phantasm. However, this doesn't really change the fact that she's still good at support, so I am going to give her 4.5 stars for support. The fact that she kills herself is really nothing new in the game of Fate, and you know, if you're going to use Miyu in that way where you sacrifice herself by spamming her Noble Phantasm just to get the buffs off and then move out and maybe bring in someone else, potentially Merlin, who is going to be better suited for your support anyway. In that regard, she functions very well as a servant, so, you know, points for that. It's not going to keep her alive very long, but it's definitely going to help support your team. And you do have your third skill as an MP battery as well, which is targetable, as well as buff success chance rate up as well. So you're good there. Overall, she's pretty solid at support, even if she is going to kill herself in the process. And that will be an overall 3.8 out of 5 for her overall ranking. Her Noble Phantasm is really good, but it's also really bad at the same time. It's kind of a huge double-edged sword. So, you know, if you use it, you're going to get those buffs on it, but you're also going to be killing Miyu in the process. So you're going to have to weigh the pluses and the minuses depending on the situations you're in. And if you do want to keep Miyu alive, then you're going to have to bring in, you know, like some sort of extra healer, or have your Miyu at MP level 5. Because if you have her at MP level 5, then you're going to heal 3000 HP, and you're going to lose 3000 HP. So, I guess it evens itself out. So, anyway, that is Miyu's character spotlight. As far as availability goes, Miyu is a limited time 4-star. And this is, as far as I'm aware, the only banner that she comes out on currently in the game. So if you do want Miyu, then you should definitely be pulling on this banner, as she does not come back. Even if you don't really want Miyu, I still suggest pulling for at least one copy of her, just because of the fact that she doesn't come back. So it's the same thing I said with Fujino. Make sure you pull for at least one copy just to have that character, even if it is just a collector's character at the end of the day. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the end of this character spotlight. I hope you did enjoy the video, and if you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I do have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord, so feel free to check those out, and I'll see you guys next time.
地に瞬く願いの光落ちた月は無垢なる輝きを束ね天を望む星の願いを